Hello everybody and welcome to the NBL1 Show. Mid-season break over the course of the weekend, but it leads us into rivalry round. Get involved anytime you want at NBL1. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media. And of course, our YouTube channel has every single game, including a game of the week this week, which is going to be a big one. Plenty to get into. Liam Santamaria, hello and welcome back.
Thanks, mate. No, good to be back and missed the NBL1 over the weekend.
It's amazing, and of course we've spoken so much about the NBL1 and the season, how it's all going, and now we're into the second half of it. It's when it really fires up. But with 18 teams and both the men's and women's side, so many games, you do notice it when it's not there over the weekend.
And the season feels like it has flown by. The fact that we're closing in on the end of the season, starting to look at playoff positioning and the like is amazing. But good chance, I think, this week to kind of look back on the season as a whole.
Yeah, so we have done our mid-season review where we've given a couple of categories to us to be able to name surprise and all the rest of it. Let's start with the men's side of it as well. Liam Santamaria and I sat down separately as we have a look. There you go. You've got Ballarat as the best men's team. I've got Nunawading.
Do you?
I like consistency. Somebody, I think, might have been Dan Ewing actually tweeted, they are the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, he did. I gave that to you at the very start of the season.
Did you?
You shouted me down about
No,
the
I actually
Spectres.
said I'm nervous about the Spectres with their 3x3
Yeah.
and how many times that's going to limit the team. And they've been able to get through most of that so far, so I'll give them a little bit of respect, but Ballarat have been great.
That respect as it goes a little bit lacking as we move our way through the categories.
We got Melbourne there as our biggest surprise, so we got the same there.
They started 2-4, the Tigers, and are on a 6-game winning streak. Now 8-4 and inside the top 4.
You've got Kilsyth as a disappointment.
Yeah, I do. They're 7-5. This is a team we thought would lose very, very few games throughout the whole season, and they started 6 and zip, and we thought they were up and rolling and were marching their way to potentially a championship, but they've gone 1-5 since. And what I thought was a little hiccup has been a serious slide.
I've got Knox, and I've actually got them even more disappointing because you and I actually commentated a game a couple of weeks ago where we watched them play against Diamond Valley, and they won that particular game, and that actually rammed home to me. And we spoke about it in the coverage, how talented the guys are on the court. And I think that on the basis of that, they should be having a better year. Who's your MVP?
Oh, Simon Conn.
Yeah.
21-10, 56% from the field. He's had 5 20-10 games, Simon Conn. And for the reason, part of that is also the reason what you were. They've had guys coming in and out of the roster, and he has just been the rock. Dane Swatala also has been excellent. Shane McDonald, again, leading the league in assists, running that team. But I think Simon has just been the rock.
I had Dane Pinot as the MVP, part of that surprising Melbourne team.
Reach.
Not by himself, averaging 16 and 16.
What about my man Poz?
He's been great.
So he's averaging 22 and 10.
Yeah.
I mean, is he their team MVP and Pinot's the league MVP?
I think Pinot's the league and the team MVP.
Is that right?
I think Poz is going to get himself an NBL gig. NBA, maybe.
Whoa, you're high on the Poz.
But NBL gig on the back of it. But I think Dane Pinot is the MVP of the league. It is wide open right now. And what's your big call? We took it down, so...
Well, my big call is that Poz might actually get the MVP by the time the season's out.
Okay.
Obviously, it's a game-by-game vote by the coaches and the refs. And, I think he's, with their run, he's been amassing some big numbers and I would say getting some big votes. And he's in tremendous form and he's so hungry trying to get that NBL contract. It's trying out with the Wildcats, in conversations with Illawarra and some other teams. I think he's going to continue to put up big numbers.
My big call is that Frankston will make the grand final.
Come on, man.
Yep. I think Frankston are going to get on a roll. In fact, they've actually played their last 6 weeks. Have been really good. They beat Ballarat last week. The big thing it's going to be...
Kilsyth, Nunawading, Geelong, Frankston are going to be in the grand final.
The big thing will be...
It's not a huge call. They didn't say give us a ridiculous call.
The big thing is going to be... guys, if they're still playing with their NBL1 team and they've got NBL duties, okay? Now, Dan Truss didn't play last weekend. They still got the win over Ballarat. I like what they're building there, but if they do miss players, and Majook's another one who's on the periphery of the NBL, if he has to get called away to a tour or to go on whatever it might be, it's going to weaken them a little bit, and I don't think their depth is as strong as some of those teams you just mentioned. But I think that Frankston, I like what they're going. I like what they play their basketball, and I think they could get on a run. What's an open men's side of it, I think.
They're a little bit up and down.
They are.
For me. And I think once you get into the finals and against those big teams, they haven't shown me the ability to be up their best is great, but they haven't shown that ability to be up for consecutive games. 2 or 3 games in a row. Once you get in the finals, that's what you need to do in order to make the grand final.
That, like, the Dogs in 2006 in the AFL won from 7th. It wouldn't stun me to see France do the same thing. Let's go to the women's side of it as well. Same thing. Best team. Well, I've got... there you go. You finally joined me.
I'm just saying. I can't deny it, can I?
I'd say that'll make, obviously, Dave Herbert and the coaching staff and all the girls at Geelong happy who actually used your words as a motivation.
Credit to them. They have been sensational. They're 13-1, and they're the only team in the league to have beaten Bendigo, whom I thought would go through undefeated.
We've got the biggest surprise, the same one as well.
There you go. Yeah, I like how Ringwood's gone about it. They're 8-4. They haven't taken a whole bunch of big scalps.
Yes.
They're only, for going through their schedule, I might have missed one, but they got a good win over Kilsyth. But what they've been doing is just taking care of business around the rest of the team. So they're going to have a tough schedule from here on out. How well they handle it from here will be interesting. The
biggest disappointment is Diamond Valley. You and I watched a couple of weeks ago as well.
Jackson.
Well, no, I'm disappointed that Lauren Jackson is yet to play.
Well,
they've actually been good, Albury, the Wodonga Bandits. So that probably has helped a little bit. If they were 0-12, maybe it should be more likely to play. But I think that, as I said at the start of the year, a 30% Lauren Jackson is something that could do some damage in his league.
LJ would love to see her out there. Didn't she do well as she went down the slide?
Oh, we'll get to that in a moment.
Okay.
Yeah,
Diamond Valley. 1-12. That's 11 losses in a row now. I flagged it when they were 6 in a row, saying, come on, it's time to turn this thing around. And it's gone from bad to way worse. And they've got some talent on that team. Arnold Maley, of course, right at the top of that tree, but they just haven't been able to pull it together.
Most valuable player for you?
Kelly Wilson. Mate, you know how the MVP count works, right?
I think Beck Cole's the most valuable player in the league.
But she's played 6 games.
Is she going to play enough when it's all said and done?
Do you think so?
Well,
she's gone off to the 3x3 World Cup.
Well, I didn't realise we're sitting here and actually talking, I'm just talking about who the most valuable player in the league is. I'm not worrying about who gets voted in.
Who would be leading the MVP vote right now, do you think?
Half-half.
Come on, man. Kelly Wilson.
Technically, Kelly Wilson might be leading it, but I was asked who's the most valuable player in the league, and I gave Beck Cole.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt about that. So I think if we're answering different things. Kelly Wilson, 13 games. She is averaging 22 points, 7 rebounds and 11 assists. You'd think she'd be leading the vote by now. The question is whether she can hang on.
The big thing will be, and I did soften it up if Kelly's watching, which no doubt she is, my big call is that Kelly Wilson will give me a quadruple double before the year's done and dusted.
A quadruple.
A quadruple.
That's steals.
I didn't want to I think she had 6 steals a couple of games ago. So she's on the cusp. So while I haven't named her the MVP just yet, quadruple double for Kelly Wilson. What have you got as your big call?
I thought your big call was that Beck Cole would be leading the MVP count, but okay.
I got asked who the most valuable player is. I stand by it.
I feel you. Kilsyth will only just make the finals. They're just going to sneak in. Right now, what are they? They're currently on a 7-game winning streak.
Yeah.
But strength of schedule.
Yeah, here we go.
Hold on, they've got 8 games left.
Yeah.
Hear me out. 5 of those are against Knox, Dandenong, and Nunawading with Matty Garrick. Although I think maybe one of their games against Nunawading might be during the 3x3 World Cup, so they might just dodge Matty Garrick. So I think their next 2 games are maybe against Knox and then Nunawading. 2 huge games. If they drop both of those, they could be starting to slide, considering how tough the rest of their schedule is.
And the Knox women have had a wonderful last 4 weeks, last 6 rounds. They're actually, I'm not saying they're underrated, but they're a team that is going to be right up to it when they come to semi-final time as well. Mark Worthington joined me on the show last week. Lauren Scherf gave us 33 and 26 last week, and he's trying to get the nickname Scherf and Turf going.
Okay, so explain that for me.
Well, I don't know, were they just going with Scherf and Turf?
Okay.
So there you go. We'll see how it picks up.
Yeah, she's a gun, and she could do serious damage in the finals, and they are establishing themselves as legitimate title contenders. We thought for a while there it would be Geelong and Bendigo, maybe Dandenong if Beck Cole plays enough games, but Knox have come storming up the ladder and playing really well.
All right, you did mention it, Lauren Jackson, of course, who is a legend of Australian basketball and in fact world basketball, to be honest. But she did go down yesterday, Freeze M&D and Big Freeze 5. It's such a wonderful cause. 1.4 million raised yesterday. Halftime, no, pre-game this was yesterday, and there she is, dressed up as Wonder Woman. And Tell you what, I love the fact when they speak to all the athletes, and Lauren, who we're talking about here, talk about how nervous they are before they're about to take the plunge into the icy water. She actually, if we're going to keep that going, yes? No?
Yeah, let's roll it.
They're pausing it for a second.
What?
That was good. No, I actually thought it was Lauren that someone nearly went off the side, but it wasn't Lauren Jackson, it was someone else.
She's got perfect balance.
Yeah, she's got perfect balance. Looks a little cold there.
And she was Wonder Woman for the Opals. And I like the way Neil Danaher he loves it when he pushes the lever. Yeah. But he just makes you wait there for an extra moment as you brace yourself.
Moment of anticipation.
Yeah.
His chuckle as he just pulls the lever and you go skirtling down to the ice is something that should be bottled up. It's very fun to watch.
She was a gun.
To Lauren Jackson, to everyone who was involved yesterday, of course, wonderful job. Have you got one of those Freeze M&D beanies?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. So have I. Good. Anyway.
Could I say no?
No, you kept. I knew you had one. That's why I asked. All right, let's get to some of these games this weekend. Rivalry round this weekend.
Yes.
You grew up obviously playing in the SABL, which was what the NBL1 previously, or part of it was. Who was the big rival as an individual player? Obviously, you were.
Let me go back even further.
Oh, you're going to go back further?
My junior days.
Oh, go all the way back.
Yeah, and playing for the Melbourne Tigers on Friday nights.
Well, everyone was your rival then.
Well, yeah, but I played my Saturdays, my domestic games for Nunawading, well, not for Nunawading, at Nunawading, Water Park Saints. So I was in kind of enemy territory there against all the Spectres who were playing for all the other domestic teams there. So Nunawading, Melbourne, for me, was the big rival. I mean, I think they play each other?
They do.
Don't they? Yeah. So that one rings a bell for me, Nunawading, Melbourne.
Okay, and of course, we went to, and you played a lot of your basketball
Knox,
at Knox as
Kilsyth.
well. Yeah.
Knox, Kilsyth was a big one.
The rivalry round works in so many different aspects as well. It traditionally means that the crowds are going to get involved. And as you touched on as well, with the juniors, it leaks up and down. So if you have that junior rivalry, it normally is the same association. So there'll be many boys and girls who play at the VJBL at the lower leagues this weekend who will be going to watch a senior team go against who they would maybe consider their rival as well.
On this?
No, Werribee.
Is Werribee on there anywhere?
I don't know. Ever since I stopped playing for Werribee, they've obviously dropped 3 or 4 levels.
Okay.
We didn't have any rivals.
No?
Everyone hated us. What are you looking forward to? I'm going to Geelong and Ballarat.
The Gators, your rivals out there?
Shepparton.
Altona?
Nah, Altona, they would blow us. That's how low they were going. They're great associations, though. No, Shepparton Gators, you and I played against Shepparton for a few years as well.
Yes, they were tough.
And they were very, very good. And Sandringham as well, who are now Southern, were rivals as well because they kept beating us in big finals. But I'm going to be
some good ones to watch.
Geelong Ballarat this weekend, which in the women's side of it.
Well, Ballarat's been playing well.
Their last month has been really, really good. So once they got the win, it seems like the confidence has started to grow just a little bit.
They haven't been beating any of these big teams though. So to come up
with strength of schedule. I agree.
Let's talk about it. So this is a really good test for them against the might and power of the Supercats.
Yeah. Who will they go without a loss for the rest of the year? The Geelong Supercats women?
Nah, Bendigo will beat them.
Bendigo will beat them.
Although Ezzy is a big handful.
You're welcome, Dave Herbert and the crew, for just coming up with your pre-game address. I can't believe you'll go with that.
That is,
but Geelong
in the men.
Yeah, the men's going to be
1
a ripping
versus
contest.
3.
Yeah. Geelong have really, not to say they were poor at the start of the year, but they were one of those teams that had a little bit of inconsistency, but they've really started to get going. Ballarat have been good from the get-go, a couple of losses recently, but games that they've only just lost. But this Geelong team is starting to find their feet. Their last month have been really good.
And DeMarcus Gatlin has been playing really, really well. Who know is the superstar out there for Geelong. And he's going to have his hands full because Ballarat are a lockdown defensive team. They're going to Brendan Joyce is going to put a lot of focus on him. It'll be one to watch for sure.
It will be. I did notice Brendan Joyce. It's interesting timing, and we spoke about this a little bit earlier with players and NBL duties. He's got a couple, Dinga Kuth and Kwame as well, at different times. He continues, Brendan Joyce does a really good job of continuing to push. Every time I seem to go on the Ballarat Courier website, it's pushing Jerry Evans Jr. for an NBL gig. It seems to be a new article that Brendan Joyce has quoted in, and he's right on the periphery as well, and he has played, of course, in the NBL before. But that's going to be such a telling factor in the second half of this NBL1 year on both sides of it. 3x3, Opals camps, although we did see the NBL1 final series for the women has been pushed back a week, so we'll have 2 finals on the one weekend. So the first weekend is now essentially a bye. But that's great because the Opals players can go and play, and then that's going to be the thing. You've got to go to a tour.
So you think NBL and WNBL commitments, apart, I mean, obviously we saw Southeast Melbourne Phoenix took some guys to China and they missed a game or two. But you think like pre-season commitments are going to impact?
I have no idea. I hope not. I hope we're sitting here and all the teams be full strength and have a chance to win a championship with their full list of players. But I just find it, and we've seen it maybe not in the last year or two, but we have seen where there have been tours and we see teams going to China or teams doing certain things, and guys who are on the periphery and girls who will put their hand up knowing what it would mean if they go on this tour and impress.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't happen. I really hope it doesn't for obvious reasons.
I think it might come up from time to time with some tours and some little trips where they might miss a game or two, but I don't think it's going to be an issue in terms of...
Well, a game or two matters if it's finals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True. But I think also the NBL teams are pretty...
No doubt.
Appreciative of what guys are doing in the off-season and whatnot. Some more than others. But Jerry Evans Jr. is an interesting one. I remember seeing him, so he played for Sandringham a few years back, and then I saw him playing for Melbourne United in the pre-season against the University of Texas at Nunawading. I remember watching that game with Mo Bamba, and I was like, wow, look at who is this guy? And I started racking my brain on who in the NBL has an import 3. Because they should be aware of this guy, Jerry Evans Jr., because if that guy goes down, you need an injury replacement. You need to know who's around. And I flagged him to Aaron Fern at Cairns, and lo and behold, a little while later, their three-man, who was it? Michael Carrera, I think, went down, and Jerry Evans got his opportunity up there. And will he be signed by an NBL team to start the season? Interesting one. I'm not so sure. But definitely would have to be on everyone's radar. If you've got an import 3, import wing, you need to make sure you're locked in on Jerry Evans Jr. as a potential guy to slide in.
All right. Well, are you coming to John with me this weekend or not?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
All right, cool.
I've got a couple of other games to flag.
Hit me.
In the men, Nunawading versus Melbourne.
Yeah,
so we spoke about Geelong Ballarat, 1 versus 3. This is 2 versus 4.
Yep.
Nunawading and a chance for Pozzoglou and Pinot, see if they can take that scalp over the Spectres. And then in the women, Knox Kilsyth, 3 versus 5. A big one for Kilsyth, as I flagged before, and Knox are rolling. And then also Knox Eltham. Now, we've spoken, we had Chelsea Schweers here a few weeks ago. She's been, happy birthday, I think she's turned 30, happy birthday.
He took it from me.
Happy birthday, Chelsea.
You're always a better
Good times, she's a good follow.
Yes.
And
she's going to be back. She's currently on a tour around Australia by looks
I think she just enjoyed the break to get out and enjoy it. But they are 8th, just sitting inside there. And we spoke to her about, those top teams, Dandenong and Bendigo, Geelong, what's happened that you haven't had the success against them? And she said, you know what, I think we're going to get there. So this is a good chance for them to take one of those scalps and beat one of those big teams.
There it is. Can't wait for it. To get involved, at NBL1 on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Of course, YouTube has all the games, and the game of the week this week is Ballarat and Geelong men's and women's. Looking forward to getting down there to the arena and watching those 2 great games. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to go at the back and ask what exactly the MVP question was about, and then after that we're going to sort it all out. Until next week, have a great week. Enjoy your hoops. Good luck this weekend in rivalry round.